they usually the male or the woman. It's usually a man this time.
Every intercourse at spring break is some kind of a rape.
Okay?
But
you know what?
Women should not be there.
Whoa. Wait a minute here. Hold on. You don't think any of it's consensual?
No, it's just the Hey, Gavin. All right, we got a break. We'll come back. We'll continue. Gavin, you want to start any more trouble?
Yeah, I'd love to start some trouble. I think that there's a great opportunity here for a small town to make a lot of money. The cops are not overwhelmed. There's a myth about social media. You just delete those pictures. The only problem here is that parents are allowing or not having a good enough relationship with their daughters where their daughters are showing up. But as far as boys go, getting pregnant is much more harmful than having some uncomfortable sex and getting mugged.
FoxNews.com.
Sean, I think what we've seen here in Panama City and quite frankly across the country is what happens when parents are not parents. They're raising, for the boys, they're raising sexual predators, and these young ladies who are disgracing themselves by running around acting like that is just outrageous. It's time for parents to start parenting and stop being friends with their kids.
It really comes down to parents. Joe, go ahead. Yeah.
Just to end things on somewhat of a positive note.
You knew a lot about beer pong, by the way.
A little bit too much, right? Conversation for another time. There's a fraternity, Sigma Alpha Epsilon, SAE. They're banning pledging moving forward, one of the largest fraternities in the country. More and more fraternities are banning pledging because of all the dangers that go along with hazing. So let's not paint all these kids... It's one way to put it.
That's pathetic.
Yeah, I just want to say on behalf of high school seniors everywhere, thanks for that how-to video. They're going to be far better prepared.
Oh,
for next
great.
year.
Yeah, let's not abandon masculinity here just because some people are getting wasted.
Hey, Sean.
Well, I think the problem is that boys can get alcohol poisoning. They can have seizures.
One kid gets alcohol poisoning a year.
They can take
Stop it.
Hang on.
Sound like geriatrics.
I think that the sheriff in your interview had a really good point about a buddy system. I think men should have a buddy system where they watch each other's behaviors, and when one of them wants to go rape a woman,
they should have a buddy system for crying out loud.
They should be policing their
I just want to say, I think it's great though. We're keeping this here in this great country. You know, don't go to Cancun. Stay here.
I actually think that.
Sean, let's end it on something intelligent. Let's talk to your kids.
You just
before
dissed
they
everybody
go.
in the studio. Go
No.
ahead.
Let's talk to your kids. Let them understand you know what goes on there, and you just tell them, listen to me. I trust you. You look at my eyes. I trust you. I'm not going to be there with you.
And I'll say this.
You want to know something? Maybe it won't stop.
Last week we shed light on what really happens when your kids jet off to spring break, and tonight we have disturbing stories to share. Now, over the weekend, college students gathered for their annual spring break party called Deltopia. Now, this is in Isla Vista near Santa Barbara, California. Things got quickly out of control. Authorities say the partiers threw rocks and bricks and bottles at police, destroying cop cars and lighting fires. 100 people were arrested, 44 others taken to the hospital. Joining us now with reaction, our author and columnist Gavin Mcinnes, Deirdre Imus, the co-host of Fox and Friends First. Ainsley, who went down upon Panama City Beach, Florida, is here with us for this report. All right, so I lived in Santa Barbara. Isla Vista, it's a 60 retro. You see Santa Barbara. And they celebrate the burning of the bank that took place in the 60s. Right. It's a big holiday down there. This doesn't surprise me, but this is another level of what happens during spring break.
Well, this is what the sheriff down in Panama City said. This is the reason they don't go out on the beach and patrol the beaches as much, because they're scared that this will happen. He says all it takes is just a few seconds for all of these kids to have this riot and gang up against these officers. You have kids that slap and punch the officers and run away, and they don't know where these kids went. Or it could even be worse. They could pull out a weapon.
Well, now, one cop in particular was hurt pretty severely.
There were 5 deputies that were injured. One was hit in the face with a brick. The most severe was a university police officer. He was hit in the head with a backpack that was full of large bottles of liquor and alcohol, and face gashed. You know, it's very dangerous. Flying rocks, bottles, bricks, street signs, you see that in the video being knocked down, small fires, and officers go in to try to break it up, and then there's a riot. 15,000 kids, Sean.
Yeah, and just descending on Santa Barbara, Isla Vista, in that area.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right around the UC Santa Barbara campus.
Exactly, it's most of those kids.
You see this. You know, one of the things that kept coming up last week when we were doing this story was, why do parents allow their kids to go? They don't only let them go, they facilitate it. They pay the money to go to Cancun, Florida, in this case, California. Why would parents do that?
Well, they're raising brats, and spoiled brats, that is, because, again, and you've been doing great coverage on this. I watched all of it last week. And when you guys cover this, it's amazing you're right. Would you pay for? I'm not going to pay for my kid to go down to spring break to just drink and do drugs. I'm not. I mean, I don't even drink.
You won't even let your kid eat a cheeseburger. So I mean,
no, and I also don't drink. And so a lot of that comes from parents. If your parents are sitting home drinking, and a lot of these mothers do party with their kids now. You see this in high school even. Yeah. And so a lot of these parents, if you look at the parents,
they drink with their kids. They smoke pot with their kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a huge problem now because they want to be the kid's friend rather than be the parent.
I agree with you.
Well, let's not pretend we can control kids. These are adults, and if they want to sneak off to what is essentially a drunken orgy, then you can pretend you can control them. You can withhold the money, but you work at a gas station 10 shifts. You got enough to go down. I got in a lot of trouble the other day for simply saying a hypothetical scenario. Your son and your daughter, on their own accord, snuck down to what is essentially a drunken orgy. Who are you more worried about? And you're obviously more worried about your daughter. But this has become a sexist thing to say.
Well, hang on. I actually have those comments because you created a bit of a firestorm. All weekend long, people have been commenting about it. Let's go back to the video. This was our Audience Edition show on Friday, and this is what Gavin said.
My daughter, there's no way in hell she's going there. But with my sons, I hope they have a great time. And with women,
alcohol poisoning.
Oh yeah,
boys
one
can
a
wind
year.
up in a hospital
That happens
bed.
everywhere. That's youth. Getting pregnant is much more harmful than having some uncomfortable sex.
And welcome to the special audience edition of Hannity. Now, every year, thousands of college students pack their bags, they head to the beach and beach destinations for the most coveted week of the year, at spring break. But along with all that fun in the sun, there's also excessive drinking, partying, drugs, and much, much more, and sometimes with deadly consequences. So, with that in mind, we sent the co-host of Fox and Friends First, Ainsley Earhart, down to Panama City Beach, Florida, to see firsthand exactly what's going on at spring break with your kids. This is what she found.
This is Spring Break 2014, Panama City Beach, Florida, one of the many destinations around the country where college students go when they have the week off of school. It gets wild, it gets crazy, and anything
It's gender specific here. I mean, we as adults, we think that we can control our children, but when our children are 18, all we can do is pray that our daughters don't go down there.
Wait, hang on a second.
And hope that our daughters don't go down there.
Gavin, let me disagree with you. In most cases, those kids don't have the money to pay to go to Cancun or to Panama City.
You work at a gas station, you get $600.
If you want my money for college, you're going to play by my rules. I still have some level of control.
With my daughter, there's no way in hell she's going there. But with my sons, I hope they have a great time and I hope they enjoy themselves.
Wait a minute. I think here's the thing.
Wait a minute. You want to respond? Go ahead.
Also point out, so I write about celebrities all day long, and I'm analyzing song lyrics 24/7, and we also have to get our celebrities to stop saying, I'm not a role model. You are a role model.
Now, Gavin got this started. Billy Cunningham came to his defense. Gavin, you say that it's different. The parents, it's okay to send their sons to spring break.
I don't know why this is so controversial. Men and women are different. I don't know if you've ever seen them in the nude. They have totally different genitalia. Men going down there with these 100-milers, the worst that can happen is some guy pulls a gun on them, they lose the $40 in their swim trunks.
Actually,
the worst case scenario with women,
alcohol poisoning.
Oh yeah,
boys
one
can
a
wind
year.
up in a hospital
That happens
bed.
everywhere. That's youth.
Boys
Sorry.
can get a bad batch of drugs.
Anyway,
all right, hang on.
The biggest problem with women is rape. That's much more common, much more serious.
Who's angry on the...
Don't send your daughters there. The women there are human garbage whose parents don't love them.
All right, whoa, one at a time. Yeah, go ahead.
Who is raping the women? It's the men.
Idiots and these 100-milers.
Who's getting arrested
these
in
thugs,
that footage? It's
these
only the
thugs
men.
from 100 miles away who bring in guns
You're allowing
criminals.
arguments like yours.
Here's the thing. Listen to me, guys. Hold on. As a mom of 2 young boys, I want to say something very interesting. I think kids today, at young age, need to know what's going on with social media. They have to be taught at a young age the severity of this.
What about the double standard, though? I want to stay focused here.
No, I went to Syracuse. University. It was a party school. I had a great time. I went on spring break. Today, what's happening with the social media? Parents need to start at a young age.
Billy Cunningham, you would give $100 to your son, but you wouldn't.
I did it all the time, and I know this is politically incorrect, but boys are different than girls, and the behavior and the risk are different. We don't get pregnant. And number two, I don't worry about sexual assault.
Sean.